What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the SW. Alright guys, so it's time once again to take a look at another starter kit, and this time we've got the wismec and Sinuous Design SW mod, and let me tell you, this one is definitely different looking. Now, for those of you that are just tired of the old standard tube and tank sort of starter kits, this one might just be for you, with a big shout out and thank you, of course, going to wismec for sending this one my way. Always love taking a look at their products. So taking a quick look online, this device is available in a variety of different color options. From what I gather here, it looks like the device itself, the actual tube part of the kit, is always going to be black. The only difference is the color of the tank and the color of the shield, but with that you can get it in silver, black, bronze, gold, or brown, and it's going to run you about 40 bucks online. For the replacement coils for the Alabo tank that's included with the kit, it's going to run you about $10 or so for a 5-pack. So make sure you guys check out the links in the description if you want to pick one of these up for yourself. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got our SW in its original box, so let's quickly take a look around the packaging and then we'll talk about what's inside. So first and foremost, we are greeted with this lovely picture of space and the mod itself, which is a little bit too dark in my opinion, but anyways, we have the Sinuous and wismec logos embellished with a little bit of silver embossed there, and we have our sample not for sale sticker. On the bottom, we have the wismec logo. On the side, we have a Sinuous logo. Top, we have wismec.com. And this side here, we have the Sinuous logo once again. And on the back, we have some pretty standard stuff. We have what the kit contains, some company information, and what color you get, as well as a little scratch-off authentication there as well. So, pretty basic stuff. I'm sure you guys have seen this a million times already. But anyways, let's take a look at what we get in the kit. So, first and foremost, of course, we have the device itself, the SW, which we will be taking a look at in just a second here. And we have the package of accessories. Now, this has your, as I get it out here, oh, it's at the other end. Well, I guess we can show you this. Yeah, this is a micro USB cable. That's what you're going to use to charge it. And it's a pretty standard one, so nothing really special about that. Next, we have a spare coil. This is a triple 0.2 ohm wismec coil. What do they call it? WSO1? I don't know. It's for the Alabo tank that comes with it. And last but not least, we have, oh, well, of course, our obligatory package of O-rings and a piece of glass, which I will actually show you how to swap this thing out in just a second here as well. And the last little tidbits we get in the bottom of the box are a battery warning. Yeah, please don't use batteries with torn casings, which is funny because there is no batteries required for this one. It's all built in. And the most basic starter little start guide, quick start guide, whatever you want to call it, you can think of. So yeah, that is pretty darn simple. And that's pretty much it right there. I'm not sure if this has changed for the full retail version. It is a fold-out one, so -5 brownie points there. But that's about it for that. Let's go ahead and show you how to change the glass. All right, guys, so here is the Alabo tank. Let's just show you how to change the glass. Just simply take off the upper section like so. You can just leave that aside for right now. Then you want to separate the top from the bottom just by twisting it like that. And then you have this piece right here. Now this is the 2mm TPD compliant piece. You can see that it's a big chunk right here. This thing is super thick, and it's not actually glass. This is plastic. So what you're going to do is just separate that from the bottom like that. Make sure your O-ring stays in place down here. Then you're going to take your glass piece out of a package and just slap that bad boy on there like so. Pretty simple. Then you just want to screw it onto the upper section like that, and you can put the thing back together and you're ready to rock and roll. Alright guys, so let's talk about the specs of the SW battery. It's 28mm in diameter. It has a 3000 milliamp hour built-in rechargeable battery. Max output is 50 watts. Ergonomic contour, modern sword-inspired design, oversized firing button, interchangeable outer shell, LED battery light indicator, dual circuit protection, micro USB port for 1 amp charging, and it has a 510 connection. And let's go over the Alabo tank's specs. So first of all, it is also 28mm in diameter. It has has a max 4 ml juice capacity or an optional 2 ml juice capacity. High quality stainless steel construction, Pyrex glass reinforcement. It uses 0.2 ohm WSO1, triple head, rated 40 to 80 watts, convenient sliding top fill method, child-proof lock system, dual massive bottom airflow control, wide bore drip tip, detachable structure with a 510 connection as well. Alright guys, so I've already showed you how to change the glass. Now let's go over this thing top to bottom and show you all the different parts. Starting off with the drip tip right here at the top. This is a metal drip tip. It's got this black metal drip tip included, and it has a Delrin base to it. So it's kind of a friction fit Delrin base with a metal shell top piece here. I'm not the biggest fan of metal drip tips, as you guys probably know by now, but for those of you that are, you're probably going to like this one because you don't often get a black metal drip tip with a kit. But there we go, that is the drip tip, and it just fits right inside the top piece right here. There is no O-ring, so it's a completely friction fit. So hopefully if you wanted to replace this with one of your own drip tips, it does have a O-ring on it so that it fits nice and snug in there. But I've never had any issues with that whatsoever. You could probably see that little arrow right there. That's what you're going to push to release that little locking mechanism that allows you to open it up like that and fill it. Gotta say, never had an issue filling this thing whatsoever. There's these two little rubber gaskets on the sides here, which make it nice and easy for you to even fit your glass stripper bottles into, or whatever you got there as well. So nothing bad there to say. You can kind of see a few little chips in the paint at the top there. That is definitely going to see some wear and tear. So this thing is going to look a little bit ragged in just a few short months, my guess. But let's go ahead and take this thing apart. You've already seen how to change out the glass, so I really don't think there's much else mentioning about this little middle piece here. This part is glass for the 4 ml tank, as opposed to the 2 ml tank being plastic, and that's pretty much what it looks like. There's nothing really super special to talk about there. Switching over to this piece here, which holds our coil. You can see the coil in there. Again, nothing too special about these coils. They're the same ones that are with the traditional Alabo tank that you get with the Predator kits and stuff like that. But these are these threaded ones, so they actually thread into the base here like so. But other than that, nothing too special about these particular coils. I mean, they tend to, work just fine. I haven't tried this tank on another device with this particular coil, but I think these are just right for the job for this particular device here. And you can see the bottom airflow section. It does go all the way open to all the way closed, and it has a nice little stopper as well. Always like that kind of tactile feeling when your airflow is set wide open. So there's that. And on the bottom there, you can kind of see the wismec laser engravings. It's alright. Nothing too fancy there, but there you go. So here's the battery portion of the SW kit, and as you can see, kind of has an interesting look to it. To me, it looks almost like a lightsaber, which I'm sure, some people are going to freak out about that, but personally, I could take it or leave it, I suppose. I like function over fashion, but there's that. You can also see the little copper pieces, or copper-looking pieces at the top here. They kind of look well-worn, which is kind of a nice touch. And at the bottom, you get the little SW logo. Hopefully you guys can see that. And actually, let me show you this, that little tiny star bit right in the middle there. That is so you can remove the actual shield piece or replace it with a different one. So they want you to actually kind of customize your own, which is interesting. It's something. But yeah, there you go. You can see around back here we have the USB. This is a micro USB port for charging. And then just below that, that's your charging indicator light. So that goes on when it's charging and it shuts off when it's done. Up top here, you can see the 510 connection. You can kind of see that it's kind of like got this funnel shape to it, which I'm not too crazy about, because if you get any juice on the bottom of your tank or leaking out the airflow holes, it might find its way directly into the 5 connection via this kind of little tapered bit right there. So not too crazy about that. And then you can see the little sort of pedals, I guess you could call them, at the top, which is an interesting aesthetic choice again by wismec and Sinuous here, but they don't serve any purpose or anything. They just kind of sit there and do nothing. And if you try to put a bigger tank on this thing, it's going to be probably difficult. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting aesthetic choices with this one here. Questionable at best, but there is an LED light behind the button here. It's going to be really difficult to see. You can kind of see it right there in that corner going off, but it is very, very difficult to see in direct sunlight or any sort of just direct lighting. So yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say about the SW kit in this little up-close portion. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off today with the pros, and my first pro is that it's so easy to fill. Now, this thing is a breeze to fill. All you have to do is lift up on your drip tip, push the top cap over just a little bit like that, pop it open just like that there, and give your bottle a good squeeze. If you're using a plastic bottle or even a glass bottle, you can fill this thing up in 2 seconds flat. Put the cap back down just like this, and then pop it back into place, put your drip tip back, and you're off and vaping in a matter of seconds. So that makes my life a hell of a lot easier, and I definitely appreciate that. My second pro today is how quickly this thing charges. Now, I know it doesn't support 2 amp charging, which isn't really that much of a bummer to me because even at 1 amp, this thing only takes about an hour and a half to charge. So if you're like me and you're an on-the-go sort of vapor, and personally, I don't leave my batteries unattended when they're charging. So for me, just plugging this thing in right next to my computer or something like that, it only takes an hour and a half to charge, and you're ready to go vaping once again with a fully freshly charged battery. My third pro today is the flavor is excellent on this one, and that's almost shocking to me because I've used the Alabo tank in the past, and it really hasn't done anything special in the flavor department, but I feel like it's a combination of this particular coil with this particular wattage output that's really just doing it for me. Everything's kind of clicking, and today I'm vaping some of this Lane Cove Vapor Helen. It's a kind of raspberry berry sort of candy flavor, and it's very bright and refreshing. You get all the notes top to bottom, and everything just really pops with this one here. So definitely loving the flavor on this one. My fourth pro today is the price. I feel like there's a lot of value for your money with this kit here. You're definitely going to get your $40 worth out of it, especially for those newer vapors that are looking to transition from smoking to vaping, maybe try it out for their first time, but just don't want to spend an arm and a leg on something they may or may not like. And you have everything in the box that you need, of course, except for juice. And my fifth and final pro is it's powerful. This thing actually kind of surprised me with how much vapor I'm getting out of it, just because it's such a small kind of form factor. You wouldn't really expect much out of it other than just a little kind of puff. But with this one here, you could definitely make some big clouds with it and have some fun as well. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is that it's ugly and it's bulky, and I know that's a bit subjective, and some of you guys out there are going to absolutely love the look of this thing, but for me personally, it doesn't really do it in the aesthetics department, so I could do without this little metal shield. Besides that, it just makes it bulky. It makes it too big, in my opinion. It has these little bump out parts that just make it kind of uncomfortable to hold on to, and I'm just not a big fan. My second con today is that it comes with a metal drip tip. Now, personally, I cannot stand metal tips. I really can't stand the way they feel when I'm vaping on them, and I'm always worried I'm going to chip a tooth when I'm driving or something like that. But anyways, I really wish they would have included a Delrin tip in the box at the very least. They could still include a metal tip as well, but just give people the option of choosing one or the other rather than just stick them with a metal tip. My third con is it basically has a funnel leading into the 510 pin right underneath the tank section here. So if for some reason you overfill your tank with juice and it just starts dribbling down the side, or it starts coming out the air holes for some reason, then it can absolutely get underneath the tank section and right into that 510. And if that causes problems in the future, I can definitely see that being a safety issue. My fourth con is it randomly has turned on in my vape bag. Now, for some reason, I don't know how it happens, but this thing tends to turn itself on when it's in my vape bag. Now, I usually carry a whole bunch of different mods, and with pretty much all of them, you have to click the button 5 times to turn them on and off. Same is true with this device here. I always turn the device off and make sure I put it up to my ear to make sure it is actually off before it goes into the bag. And when I'm driving, sometimes it'll just randomly start firing off, and I'll have to, rip my bag open while I'm driving and take it out of there. So that can definitely be a safety issue. I would really be cautious with this one here, especially when you're putting it in a bag or something like like that. Just be really, really careful with this one. And my fifth and final con for this device is that it really could use an added LED light. Now, the light that's inside of this thing is almost useless in pretty much any direct lighting situation. You kind of have to cup your hand around it just to see if your device is on or not. So they really could have used a bigger, brighter LED ring around the actual button piece or something like that, just to show whether the device is on or off, and also to show your battery life as well. So at the end of the day, is this thing worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one for review? And my answer is going to be no to this one, unfortunately. I like a few things about it a lot, but there are some safety concerns with this one here, and it could just use a few little tweaks. I feel like they're on the right track with it, but for me, I don't really like the styling. It doesn't really do anything as far as that goes, and if I had my choice between this and a Smoke Stick V8 or something like that, I'd probably end up going with the Smoke Stick. So there's that, but if you guys are interested in one of these for yourself, make sure you check out the links I got right down there in the description below. So that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to also click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts all about the SW or anything else you guys want to discuss down there. Also, make sure you check out the description where I've got the advocacy and my social media links. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on!